Okay, well, here it is. Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn, the sequel to Path of Radiance. Um, so, since this is very much a direct sequel, like 3 years after Path of Radiance. Oh no, don't start with the slowdowns already. God, I wish I knew what to do about this. Alright, so I figured I should probably start with more or less a summary of what happened in Radiant Dawn. So the game centers around Ike, who is the son of a leader of a mercenary company. The game starts with him, finally becoming full-fledged, being allowed to join his father and the rest of the company on missions. And one day, they're going out to investigate a battle that happened nearby. His word has it that the kingdom of Daein has invaded its neighbor, the kingdom of Crimea, which is where Ike and company live. So they're going out to, investigate the signs of a nearby battle, see how it's going, because as a mercenary company, they kind of have to decide who they're going to side with, if at all. And in the process of that, they find a girl named Alencia who claims to be the princess of Crimea, which is a very suspicious claim because her existence isn't public knowledge. For political reasons. It was something like her uncle, a duke, had already been named next in line to the throne before she was born. So they didn't want to cause any kind of political upheaval after she was born. So they just kind of raised her in secret in the castle, so there wouldn't be any kind of disputes. So like I said, it's a very suspicious story, right? Turns out it's true though. So the company decides that they're going to escort her to another nearby kingdom of Gallia, to give her refuge. But of course, it doesn't end there. They do their best. Along the way, Ike's father is attacked by a knight of Daein, a man in black armor, a guy that they just know only as the Black Knight, who seems to have some kind of history with Ike's father, Grail. Probably should have mentioned his name. They fight, and the Black Knight ultimately kills Grail and kind of leaves Ike in charge of the mercenary company. Which, seems a little weird that it's Ike and not any of the other members with more experience. But it was something they all had planned. They'd already accepted. Anyway, so with Ike at the helm now, they escort Alencia to make some alliances, basically, to try to help her reclaim Crimea. So they She ends up going to the largest nation on the continent, Begnion, which both Daein and Crimea had splintered off from. So she's going to Begnion to get some support. And after jumping through a few hoops, Ike and Alencia manage to get the support they need. And they lead a new army, the Crimean Liberation Army, in a campaign against Daein, led by the Mad King Ashnard, who just started all this for no apparent reason, except he's after an artifact that's supposed to give him a lot of power. An artifact known as the Fire Emblem. Go figure. So Ike leads the campaign into Daein. He figures, okay, we'll just go to the capital. We'll beat the king there. That'll put an end to the war. They do that. Turns out the king had actually abandoned the capital of Daein. He's in the capital of Crimea. So after taking Daein, Ike moves to Crimea. By the way, he does renounce his right to rule, because technically, for conquering the capital, it's, spoils of war or something like that. He refuses that. Doesn't want any of it. So he leads the army into Crimea. There's fighting. Ike and company ultimately win and defeat Ashnard. They encounter the Black Knight along the way. They have a fight. Ike and the Black Knight have a fight one-on-one. Canonically, Ike wins the fight. Castle falls down. Black Knight disappears. Mysterious. Ike beats Ashnard. Alencia is restored to the throne. And it's time to, rebuild after all the destruction caused by the war. So that's... obviously there are some finer points along the way. Wrong button. I think we're okay. There's some finer points along the way, but I think those are the key. So, this game does take place about 3 years after the campaign. And, well, as you can probably guess, things don't go, perfectly smoothly. That's kind of what this opening trailer thingy is suggesting, right? Anyway. That is... Why isn't my controller working? That help? No? I swear it was just working a little bit ago. God. Can't believe I gotta do this. Looking at classic controller. Okay, there we go. Anyway, a little bit more into the technical side of this, I suppose, in order. So, Radiant Dawn started life as another GameCube game, but I guess the development cycle kind of took a little too long. So it was transferred to the Wii. which is fine. I mean, the Wii is, after all, just kind of a higher-powered GameCube. Same architecture and all that, just more horsepower, more memory, that kind of thing. What that means is that there is a save transfer option. I'm going to go ahead and start a new game. So since I've played Path of Radiance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to load this clear data. So it does say here, some of your allies will grow stronger and you'll be able to view support content. From Path of Radiance, the library. I'm actually going to take a quick peek at that, because I want to show you just how underwhelming this is. Path of Radiance Support Archive. So here you do get a list of all the archives. All the support conversations that you've done. I did import a save to test this to make sure that it worked right. So these are all the supports that I got on my Path of Radiance play. And I guess I should point out, whenever you see things like this right here, where there are 2 C conversations or 2 A conversations, what that is that there are variations based on whether related characters have died or not. Just slightly different text, but none of it came up in my playthrough. Might also be like just when it happens in the story. I think that's another factor. But the logs are not that great. Just get little portrait thumbnails of the characters. Underwhelming. Anyway, start a new game. We are going to load clear data. So when it says some of your allies will grow stronger, what it means is that any character in Path of Radiance that you got to max level, if they got to max level and they hit their caps in any of their stats, then those stats that did cap will get an extra 2 points when that character reappears in this game. That's it. 2 points, which, could be a lot. It could be a difference breaker, but not super important, I would say. And don't worry if you're playing at home. Any characters that might have died in your Path of Radiance playthrough, if you choose to import it, they come back. They're fine. There's nothing like that. There's nothing like a death from the previous game will carry over to this one. It's not canon. Their death was not canon. It's fine. There's a couple other things that carry over, but I guess I'll get into that later. That is the clear data. One thing I do want to point out, though, this is very important. If you are to play this at home, you cannot have a clear data on easy mode in Path of Radiance. There's the whole thing where when they localized Radiant Dawn, they kind of changed the difficulty names around. And basically, like, they made it easier when they localized it. So Path of Radiance, specifically, that's what it was. Path of Radiance, they made easier as well. They added easy mode. So in the Japanese version, there's no easy mode, right? And with Radiant Dawn, they kind of didn't account for that. if there's presence from a difficulty mode that wasn't there in the Japanese version, then the system will hard lock on you. It'll make that annoying beep sound, and you're screwed. You'd have to delete that save file. So we're not doing that. That's why this is on normal. Gonna import it. Having said that, though, with Radiant Dawn, I am gonna play this on easy mode because I recently tried to watch someone play it on normal, and it was just kind of ridiculous. Here we go. Part 1. Part 1. Silver-haired maiden. Re-rendered cutscene.
Not yet, sir. No.
Good, it has subtitles.
Keep looking, sir. We're wasting our time. There's no one here.
I know I heard something.
Hush, Yune. Please, don't cry. If they hear you, you'll give us away.
Who's there?
Is it the Dawn Brigade?
No, it was just a bird.
Thought we didn't see you?
Look, silver hair.
If it's the fortune teller, we'll be heroes. Without her, the Dawn Brigade is nothing.
Oh, the general's going to love this.
Sir.
Listen up, class. If you don't want to get hurt, don't struggle.
He's not alone!
I will say, I know this is Fire Emblem, and like soldiers killing each other is what the gameplay is all about.
Micaiah. Got you now.
I guess it'll wait after.
Good job, Micaiah. Let's go.
Right. Yune!
Right, so when I first played this game, I remember I was very surprised to see that soldier's throat got slit. Like, there's no blood spray or anything, but like that happened. Anywho, here's where you can see one of the artifacts of the fact that this game was developed initially for the GameCube, which is the borders on the left and right side there. Since the Wii supports widescreen by default and the GameCube did not, I guess they didn't like render the background for widescreen, so they just added in this kind of generic framing there. Oops. Oh well. Anyway, here's Edward, no relation. Got Micaiah here. Micaiah is going to serve as our starting lord. who evidently has some kind of foresight. Edward called it farsight, but I wonder if that's like a mistranslation or something. And as is extremely typical of Fire Emblem, starting off with bandits. Now, I have ragged on this game before. I have voiced some of my problems with it. But this is actually... And at least it's an idea that I like. So after Ike defeated Daein, and kind of, you know, renounced the right to rule it, he left Begnion in charge of occupying Daein. They've been at it for 3 years. And, hey, turns out an occupying military force kinda sucks. Even though Begnion was supposed to be kind of the good guys, here they're decidedly not. I do like that as, you know, as saying, hey, military... like I said, military occupation is bad, no matter who's doing it. So we've, in the wake of the occupation, we've got this Dawn Brigade here, which seems to be made up of a bunch of teens, who I guess are more or less freedom fighters, stealing from occupational forces, who are supposed to be here keeping the peace, but obviously they're letting bandits run wild. Alright, am I gonna watch this? We'll just take a quick peek. Alright, blah blah blah. This is color-coded allies. You know what? I'm actually just gonna skip this. What it really means, what Edward is saying here. Micaiah should attack at a distance where she'll be safe. Then Edward will close in for the kill. Alright, so before I started, turn message speed on, game speed to fast. That window, yeah, that's fine. Also fine. So far, so good. Maybe turn down the grid just for aesthetic purposes. I'll leave attack animations on just for now. I'm probably going to turn them on. Actually, let's take a quick peek at our starting character. Now we've got Micaiah. This game does not have profiles of all the characters. But Micaiah is, she's a light mage. So we've got a magic wielding lord. And she's the only one who can use light magic who's, as it said here, who's not any way affiliated with the clergy. Not a priestess or anything. God, the skills screen makes its return. She's got this unique skill. You can see that lock on there. That means she's bound to it. She can actually restore an ally's HP by giving up her own. Other things, items have been kind of combined. So rather than where Path of Radiance had 4 slots for weapons and then 4 slots for items, I believe in this game, characters just have 8 slots for everything. Equipment and items. Herb has 10 uses, which is kind of a lot. Takes the place of the vulnerary. Bandit is being gross. I wonder where we... Well, that language did come up in Radiant or in Path of Radiance. Soren explained that that's the language they use to cast magic. Now, I will give this game credit. The attack animations are much livelier than they were in Path of Radiance, so it's probably okay. We'll leave them on for now. You can see there are, in fact, variations to the attacks, which is good. I think that's good. Alright, there's kind of a lot going on here. Let's see what I can cover here. You can see Micaiah, weirdly, despite being a light mage, she's got a dark elemental affinity. As the description here says, it affects 2 things. One is the kind of support bonuses that she'll grant to whoever she has a support with. And the other is, it says an advantage on maps with the same elements, like this one. But the thing about it is, I think it's just like a slight accuracy. Like a slight accuracy and evasion boost. Another minor mechanical change I wanted to talk about is check out this vulnerary. In previous Fire Emblem games, the vulnerary would only heal 10 HP. Had 3 uses. Now it heals 20 HP with 8 uses, which is kind of ridiculous. And yet, that's what we're given. Like, this is how the game kind of starts. Right, there's Leonardo. There's no Michelangelo or Donatello to speak of. There is a Raphael, but he doesn't come in until 3 houses. Indirect combat is just what I did with Micaiah earlier. Just attack at range. Most units can't counterattack. The Leonardos are starting archer. Then I suppose we'll finish this guy off. Magic. I want to make sure that Micaiah does get some experience out of this whole thing. Hey, there's an extra herb. Have Edward come out. That crit wasn't too bad. Next, let's see the sacrifice. Micaiah took a little damage. Edward was healed. I just want to double check the numbers here. Numbers are fine. Leonardo. Double click. I have Edward come in here. He'll get enough experience to level just from the attack. One of the advantages of easy mode, turns out, is you get way more experience, which honestly I'm grateful for. I mean, look at that. That was almost 20 experience just for landing a hit. Alright, that is a good starting level. Good inaugural level. Ideally, I would like to get Micaiah the experience. I don't think that's going to happen. I will use this vulnerary to fully heal him. Take a pot shot with Leonardo. Oh, I guess I should probably look at that. Right. Leonardo comes with a Draco shield. That's a stat boosting item. You get one in the prologue. What's up with that? I don't know. Leonardo has the skill Cancel. It doesn't trigger on every attack, but when it does trigger, it just denies the enemy an opportunity to counterattack. So obviously you want it to trigger on the first attack. And Edward has a skill. He has Wrath. You might remember Wrath from Path of Radiance. They did have to nerf it. Raise critical hit percentage by 50. This time it's when his HP is at less than 30%. In Path of Radiance it was 50%, which was a lot more attainable, which made it really, really good. So they had to dial it back a little, make it harder to trigger, which is fine. It's fine. Kai's gonna come in here. I'm gonna take this kill. What do you know? You got a full level out of that. Dang. Magic and Resistance. That is an extremely mage-like level. Not what I'm hoping for out of her. She is going to need to pick up speed. And she should be pretty good at that, so I don't know. We'll see. Ah. Local towns. Ah, there's our peacekeepers who are not keeping the peace. And then there's this jerk. Target's goods levied from the town. They think Micaiah is a witch. Ah. So, yeah, her healing ability is very unusual. She doesn't need to use a staff or anything to do it. I guess no one... I guess she keeps the part where she has to give up her own life force to do it. Kind of a secret. Right, so the soldier is given his report. He tried to capture Dawn Brigade. That was the opening cutscene. And General Jared here. He kind of sucks. He's extremely... I am absolutely the bad guy here. That's his vibe. So, God, it's just ridiculous how over the top it is. There's Jared saying... There's Jared killing one of his soldiers, one of his subordinates, for not capturing a band of thieves. Then he says, having a challenge like this makes things way more interesting. Can you tell that he's the bad guy here?